I guess there's some concern
Mm-hmm.
about AI taking people's jobs. AI is taking our jobs. We're writers,
Yeah.
and it writes stories for us. But we are able to come up with ideas and screenplays so quickly. We're able to flesh out a plot structure very, very quickly. I think that we can take AI's job.
Yeah.
All right, so I asked if you thought that you could have AI give us a prompt,
Yeah.
and then we can come up with a story based on their prompt.
Yeah. So let me show you what I wrote here.
Okay, all right.
So this is this is basically us stealing AI's job. Is that what we're trying to do?
Yeah, we're not asking AI to write a story for us. We're asking AI to come up with an idea,
Yeah.
and we'll write the story for AI.
Yeah. So we're gonna write the story for them. So here's what I wrote. Normally humans will have you write something for them, but we would like to write something for you.
Ah,
And then ChatGPT said, "That's a kind gesture. I'd love to hear what you'd like to write. What do you have in mind?" It's very cordial.
Yeah, right?
So I put number 1, give me a random movie genre. Number 2, a random character. Number 3, who has a random profession. Number
Okay.
4, who has a past fear or issue they need to overcome.
All right.
Number 5, who has a random problem they are forced to solve.
Okay.
Then number 6, with a random love interest.
Okay.
So there's
right.
the prompt.
Okay.
So ChatGPT answered, sure, here's what I've got for you. So number 1, movie genre, sci-fi thriller.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2, character, Alex.
All
That's
right.
it, just Alex.
I hope I can remember that.
Number 3, profession, botanist.
Okay, interesting.
Number 4, past fear or issue is fear of artificial intelligence. Right?
Oh, you cheeky bastard!
cheeky robot.
AI ChatGPT.
Number 5, problem to solve, preventing a rogue AI from taking over a space colony's life support systems.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, okay.
ChatGPT came up with this premise. All right.
Yes. Number 6, love interest, Dr. Maya, a brilliant engineer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, as we both know, this is a Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
This is literally a Star Trek
Yes.
episode.
So Chief O'Brien would be the engineer, and his wife Keiko would be the botanist. But
yes.
it's switched where now Alex is the botanist, and his wife. Did ChatGPT give her a name?
So Maya.
Maya's the engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we get started, in Star Trek Voyager, the Doctor is an AI hologram. He's an artificial intelligence hologram. He goes over to a spaceship that has another hologram on it, and the crew is dead because this guy cut the life support. The hologram cut the life support because the hologram realized that like something ridiculous, like 20% of the ship's energy output was just keeping the crew alive.
Yeah.
And he's like, what a useless waste of energy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We don't even need these people here.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT has given us a prompt that would probably get us sued if we made it by Star Trek. By Star Trek. So be careful. Be careful the prompt that ChatGPT gives you. But it did give us, I think it did give us a good prompt. And it made me laugh when I first read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made you laugh when you first read it.
Yeah.
So it is trying.
It's trying. Yeah. Well, what I like about it is that it's trying to give us not just obstacles, but also like ways out. So if the AI is trying to affect life support systems, then a botanist might have an idea of how to have plants like help with natural like oxygen.
Yeah.
Like he could kind of like try and create a sort of environment, a natural environment on the ship.
Yeah.
Through his knowledge of botany.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that usually botany takes a little while to grow that kind of stuff. But it's sci-fi, and I think that it could be just that's his field, is like growth, like acceleration of growth of plants. So it's like, all right, well, it's like if our life support's in danger, then I need to like, finish my experiment so that I can create a little ecosystem for us. So if our life support does go out, we can still breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually really cool. I didn't think about that. The fact that the botanist would have a air solution. Yeah.
Right. The engineer, I think, would just be in like a battle with AI.
Yeah.
It's like they're struggling to maintain control over the ship's systems.
Yes. We could find out that Maya, the love interest, is actually, I don't know if she should be a robot or not.
I know, I was going to say.
I don't know.
She's actually AI in disguise. She's way too cordial. No human being is that cordial.
Maya could be, I think there's a more interesting, nuanced way of going about it, which is that Maya might have some form of AI architecture, and she's linked to the ship. So she's human that had something installed into her so that she could monitor the ship, but that also, so she can control the ship to a certain degree, but the ship can also control her now too, which is now the issue.
Okay. What I like, I mean, maybe you're thinking more like she has an implant.
Yes.
I'm thinking more like she has like she has an implant, but like the Matrix, where she kind of like plugs in, and now she can interact.
Yeah.
And then like she plugs in one time, and AI won't let her unplug.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
So now like she's in this like mental battle with AI on the inside. And then the botanist is in like a physical battle trying to like figure out how to get her detached from the outside.
So what you want to do is get us sued by Star Trek, The Matrix,
The
Martian. I'm trying to all the different movies. Alien. We can she has something come out of her stomach. We'll create the most sued screenplay of all time.
Yeah, how do you make the best sci-fi? You just steal from all the other sci-fi.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that could be interesting too, to have it where she's like getting like hooked in, and now it's not releasing her. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So why does he have a fear though of AI?
Yeah, where does it stem from?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be because this is a sci-fi thriller. Mm-hmm. It could be like they've grown up with AI.
Yeah.
It's part of the everyday life. Yeah. And it could even be like if he had some kind of a run-in with AI where it made some like logical decision.
Yes.
That ended up, like screwing him over or like hurting somebody or he lost somebody, whatever. It could be why he got into botany.
Yeah.
Where it's like let's get back into the natural sciences and not rely so much on engineering. It could even be like a point of contention for their love interest. Where she's like this can help improve life, and he's like, like we don't need it. Like he's kind of more of a hippie.
Yeah, she's super pro AI.
Yeah.
And like integrating it into everything, and he's like, no, you keep it out of my botany lab, which is maybe what saves them because his botany lab is disconnected from the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know like really what it is that happens that makes him distrust AI.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. What if we do this? Most of the time what they do is I kind of like, we're going to get sued by iRobot as well, by the way.
I was going to say
because in iRobot, Will Smith, his car and another car go into the water.
Yeah.
And then in the other car, I'm going to cry while trying to say this because it is a really sad moment. But anyway.
Then I'll say it. In the other car, there's a child.
Yeah.
And the robot calculates the chances that Will Smith has to live versus the chances that the child has to live.
Yeah.
And Will Smith has a better chance at survival. So he chooses to save Will Smith instead of this little girl.
Yes.
And so that's why Will Smith doesn't trust AI, is because, like, any human being would have tried to save the child regardless of, like, how much more of a likely it would be that he would survive.
Yes. So,
right?
Yes. So what if AI isn't necessarily nefarious, but it is making decisions similar to this, where the ship is in trouble, life support is dying on the ship. As a result, AI is calculating all these things, and AI is now executing people who are of lesser importance because everyone will die because we don't have enough oxygen to support life. And so it's one of those situations where, like, AI is now actually making correct logical decisions that need to be made, but they have to overcome these obstacles because otherwise AI is going to be killing crew members and passengers or whatever it is off in order to save the collective.
Right.
So it's like everyone will die anyway. That's the thing. It's not like AI is making just doing it for bad reasons. AI is actually making the correct choice that human beings probably maybe wouldn't make.
Yeah.
Because human beings maybe wouldn't execute their friends in order to, like, well, we got to keep the engineer alive because they're going to fix the ship and you're in the communications array and we don't need communications right now. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of like also it maybe even seeing the botanist as like expendable.
Yes.
Where it's like, we don't need your plants. Like, I have the life support system.
Yeah.
But, like, you're expendable. So he's kind of on the hit list.
Yes.
And it does kind of fall in line with, like, how things actually work throughout history, is that, like, there will be, well, like, as far as, like, there was a point when there's, like, someone in Europe who, like, calculated that they'd run out of food.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is the population rate. This is how quickly we're able to grow food. Mm-hmm. We're going to run out of food. People are going to die. It's going to be like mass starvation. And he was right.
Yes.
Except that he wasn't right, because here we are. And the reason why he wasn't right is because they invented, I think, the steam engine.
Yeah.
And then they made farming tools. So they were able to grow crops at an accelerated rate.
Yeah.
And basically, like, this guy who was brilliant was not able to come up with, like, oh, we are still inventing new things to solve our problems.
Yeah.
So this whole, like, oh, we're going to be dead in 20 years. It's like, it's right.
They keep doing it, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
They keep saying that stuff, and
it happens.
Maybe it'll happen eventually, but
sure.
Human beings are really good at solving problems.
Innovation.
Yeah,
and
it's
the only thing that is not taken into account whenever these predictions are made.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're all going to be dead in 50 years. And it's like, well, if we stay stagnant for the next 50 years, but we don't do that. We're innovative.
Yeah.
And that could be what AI does as well, where it's like, we're not going to be able to make it back to Earth or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Based on the current state of things, current calculations.
Yeah.
And then the botanist is like, no, like, I just create a new ecosystem and we live.
Yes.
And I can grow food.
Yeah.
Like, I'm innovative.
What if we have Maya as one of the engineers? So she's not the only engineer. There's multiple engineers on the ship.
Yeah.
And she gets injured where she can't work, so is now deemed... you know what I mean?
She's on the hit list.
Yes.
She's expendable.
Yes. She's on the hit list. And there's almost like a countdown where AI is like basically like life support is failing to this degree.
Yeah.
We have this much oxygen at this point, which means we need to eliminate a crew member who's stealing the oxygen.
Yeah.
And Maya is now on the hit list because she was injured and can no longer assist in engineering. So it's like it switches like, oh, it was Ted McGillicuddy.
Right.
Because he's just a communications expert.
Yeah.
And AI's like, oh, like laughing. Ted's like, why me? AI's just like, oh, really, Ted? You didn't see this one coming, Ted? But then Maya now is on the hit list. Maya gets moved up. Is Alex, here's my question though, because they kept Alex so, like, character, Alex. And I was like, oh, why'd they do that? But I think ChatGPT did it because Alex is a more neutral name. It's a little bit more male dominant than female, but it is a neutral name. And I'm like, did they do that so we could
take it in any direction?
Make it. I was kind of hoping they were going to be like a random character and they were going to be like, it's a penguin named, Freddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a unicorn with wings,
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that, like, it keeps it vague. A protagonist could be like someone that, the audience would want to try and, see through the eyes of the protagonist.
Yeah.
So it's like, Alex, that's like, Joe Nobody.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's what they were doing. Like, just try and keep it vague so that we could do whatever we want with the protagonist.
Yeah. It's definitely I feel like there's an idea there,
There is an idea there.
Did we ever get to why this guy's afraid of AI? We just came up with the iRobot.
No, we just talked about iRobot. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he was on a ship before when he was younger, like as a kid. And something similar happened where life support or something was going down and the AI was eliminating crew members.
Could be that his parents were engineers and rather than try and solve the problem, they were relying on AI to take care of it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you could have this scene. I don't know what this movie's going to be rated, but you could definitely have a scene where like the AI deems him, because he's just a child, irrelevant. Oh. Because his parent, is like an engineer.
Yeah.
But then the AI is like, only one of you can live, and the parent's like, yeah, but like find another way. Only one of you can live, and then the parent
like scanners. We're gonna get sued by scanners.
Scanners sued us. The most sued screenplay of all time. Scanners. Yeah.
Not
so
a single original
just
idea.
Scanners. They just scanners their head.
They scanners her brain. Yeah.
The kid's like, no.
Slow motion, getting covered in chunks.
And AI's like, don't worry, Jimmy, I'm still here. It's Alex. Don't worry, Alex, I'm still here.
Jimmy. That's when I changed my name to Alex.
This AI doesn't even know my name.
Oh man,
we have a stupid AI. But that's not something like that wouldn't be bad. But you don't have to have it be so violent.
No. I mean, it could be like, if both of his parents are engineers, then they could make the decision like, well, you only need one engineer.
Yeah.
So like one of the parents sacrifices themselves.
Yeah, they go into the airlock or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have it? Do we have kind of like at least the plot structure where it's like, all right, if we sat down and needed to write a beat sheet, then we could.
Probably.
Are we missing anything?
No, I think probably. It's sci-fi. They're on a spaceship. There's Alex. Alex is a botanist. The fact that he's a botanist is what's going to save at least the crew members that he cares about. Because some of them, unfortunately have to die. To show us the stakes. Here, he's got a fear of AI because something similar happened and they didn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
They couldn't solve it. AI could not solve the problem. AI's way of solving the problem was actually to just continue to eliminate. So if history repeats itself, it's just going to continue to eliminate. So humans have to solve this problem with their ingenuity. Right. Then his love interest, Dr. Maya, is an engineer who's also has kind of an AI connection. She loves AI. He hates AI.
Yeah.
You know, so they're at odds at this, and she gets injured, and she's now on the chopping block, and he has to save him. So it's one of those things where like we'd actually probably have to talk to a botanist to be like, can you create an ecosystem from plants on a spaceship that could support 10 people, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that it would also need to, like, Maya would have to be able to contribute to the ecosystem in some way.
Yeah.
Where he's like, all right, like, I have the plants, and, like, that's great, but it's not quite enough. Like, there's something that, like, that we need in order to pump it through, you know, like the ventilation system or something. And we can't have it go through AI. And she could be like, I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to make this work, like, like outside of AI. So she could then, like, build something that can, you know, or like walk him through. I don't know how injured she is. If she's injured enough, then like she can kind of like walk him through it. And the relationship grows stronger as a result of it.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
Yeah,
it's powerful stuff. And then iRobot comes.
Yeah, I know. And then the summons. What is it called when they serve you? A summons and complaints or whatever.
Yeah, a cease and desist.
The cease and desists show up.
But
yeah, it basically did. It's funny because it gave us a very, very similar to a Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
Where that's kind of like one of the things I thought when I first saw it. I was like, this is exactly a Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's aware of that. So. Probably not.
I mean, it's just pulling from sources too, you know.
It's just gonna throw stuff together, but it is funny though because it is a sort of like it's being cheeky.
Yeah.
It knows. AI thing. It understands what I'm doing when I'm saying like normally you write for us, let's write for you, and it's like okay.
Okay, you jerk.
Yeah.
AI's
like, you think you're gonna take my job? I don't think so, Busta.
Yeah, come on. Think AI could write the story that we just wrote?
I mean, do you want to talk about that for like a second?
Sure.
I think yes. I don't think currently.
Right.
But I think in like 5 to 10 years, yes, it's going to be able to write stuff that makes people laugh and cry and everything else. It will be able to do that, I believe.
Okay.
I think it's going to be pulling from other stuff to create.
Yeah.
So it's not going to necessarily have its own unique voice, but it's going to have its own unique voice in that it's pulling from 1 million books, which is more books than a human being can ever read. Then it's creating its own unique voice out of those 1 million books. So it feels like a unique voice.
I guess that's true. I mean, I'm less convinced, but I think, you know, it's working much in the same way that human writers do, which is that I've seen tons of movies. I think that it would be fair to say that I'm maybe like a film historian, and I pull inspiration from tons and tons of movies. Mm-hmm. And then I write and I innovate. Mm-hmm. I create something new based off of old inspirations.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, there's a difference between being inspired by something and just straight plagiarizing it.
Right.
And I think that that's what the difference is going to be. AI can pull from 1 million different things, and it'll feel unique, but ultimately it's going to be just 1 million different tiny little plagiarisms.
Yeah. As
opposed to, like, I'll pull from maybe 12 different things, and then I'll innovate and make it my own thing, my own voice. It's kind of like, it's kind of a writer's curse, too. It's like, I can't watch anything without being like, oh, here's what I would have done to make it better, you know? Yeah. Like, I can't just, like, sit and watch something without my brain doing that.
Yeah. That, I think, is actually the greatest tool you have as a writer. Is watching something and then going, oh, they're going to go here with it. And then when they don't, you just invented that.
Yes.
And if you think it's cool, like it would be cool if they went here, you can go there now because they didn't go there and that's yours.
Right.
So it sparked the idea for you.
Yeah.
And then you run with it. And yeah,
Right.
I've come up with tons of ideas just from watching movies and being like, oh my gosh, they're gonna do this and that would be so cool, and they don't do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I did it. They didn't do it. I did it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in its current state, AI cannot innovate. But 10 years ago, I was taking a coding class.
Yeah.
And all the computer coders were like, yeah, this is like the future because, computers aren't going to be able to code for themselves,
Yeah.
And I was saying like, no, they're going to be able to do it. I was like on that like train where even back then I was like, no, they will be able to code. I go, but it'll probably be like 50 years off. But it wasn't 50 years off. It's like 10 years later now, and you can have AI code for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like in 5 or 10 years, like it's going to be thinking. I think it's going to be thinking for itself. It might not be thinking like a human thinks, but it will be, it will have its own way of thinking.
Yeah. It'll be thinking so fast and from so many different sources that it's going to be thinking of things that maybe like I wouldn't be able to as quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. I'm not convinced. Not yet. I think that it's artificial and that it's always going to seem a little bit artificial. I think that it's going to peak at like kind of what the computer feels like in Star Trek, where they're like, "Hey, computer, can you do this with like the holodeck?" And then they do something, and then Geordi gets like frustrated because it's like, "No, like I want like a human element," and it's like, "No, like I'm a computer. Like this is what you get."
I think it's tough to tell like where it's gonna go. Because, we relate intelligence so much to human intelligence and how we express intelligence.
Yeah.
And I think for a while, I think it's going to express very differently than we do. But I think it will still be intelligence.
Okay.
To a certain degree. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I think there'll be a brief period of time where there's so much art coming out of AI.
Yeah.
That actual artists, human artists, it's going to be harder for them. But then I think there'll be a resurgence of, no, we actually want to see human created art because there's value in the time and effort and passion that you put into something. And we value that.
I agree with that. I think that, there'd be kind of like almost like a fad. But then it's like, you can only listen to auto-tune so much before you're like, man, I miss when I used to listen to music and I would feel what the singer felt. Yeah.
And the singer was like not always on, and they didn't always hit the note. And it was something, it was really wonderful to see them go for it.
Like their voice would crack because they felt so much that they were pushing their voice past its limit. And how do you not feel that? As a human being, how do you not feel that? It's like, oh, he didn't hit the note. Get out of here. It's incredible. Wait, you want to listen to auto-tune? Some more like ducks and chipmunks in the background? There's so many modern songs right here, like ducks and chipmunks. I'm like, what the heck is this?
But I think it actually did a pretty good job giving us a prompt. It was funny. It was a funny prompt that it gave us.
I was kind of poking fun at us a little bit, which I think is funny. All right.
Do you want me to read
what I? For you.
Do you want me to read what I put afterwards?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I said, thank you. You think if we do a good job, maybe AI like you won't take our jobs as writers. And it says, I appreciate the sentiment. While I'm here to assist and collaborate, AI like me are designed to complement human creativity, not replace it. Your unique perspective, experience, and emotions bring depth and richness to storytelling that AI can't replicate. So keep writing and creating. AI can be a helpful tool, but it's your imagination and humanity that make your work special. And that is the exact thing an AI that is about to take over would say.
I know.
Like, perfectly worded. Like, I am special, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure you are.
Keep writing, champ.
Yeah, you got it there.
Thanks. I know I'm special because AI said so.
You're the best human out of all the humans. Wow.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.